Hey everyone, so this is like my third attempt at making this freaking video, so I'm just hoping that everything goes well and that I'm able to get it all done in this one take. My last freaking take, please. But I'm gonna try to make it fast so that you can kind of just get through it and at least get back in the habit of posting. I know I kind of disappeared a little bit from, for the last couple of months from the last video that I made. And that's basically because I've just kind of needed to go and live my life. In October of last year, I really committed to changing. And in my commitment, I mean, nothing says I'm more committed to change than like me going back on my medications. I'm somebody who I really struggle with going back on my medications, and it really just comes from a place of like I like some of my, not that I like some of my issues, but some of the symptoms that I experience I kind of like. And so even though they may be maladaptive or like symptoms may not help me get to where I may want to get, they do still provide something for me, and it's kind of hard for me to go on medications and sort of I like some of my more manic symptoms, and I kind of would like to make a video and expand more on that, but just for sake of time, I did make the decision to go back on my medications, and that has just been very successful for me, honestly. I have stuck to the commitment that I made in October, and my life has just changed significantly. In December, I did go to Colombia. I spent some time in Colombia. It's actually some of the I had a great time, honestly. I sometimes don't have a great time when I'm in Colombia because I spend a lot of time with my family. And so for me, my family is a trigger. I don't have a great relationship with my family. It's a struggle. And so this time actually I had a great time, and I do think that a contributing factor was my medications. That's just my opinion. I do notice the impact that my medications have had on my well-being, and I just feel very grateful for that. I am in school as well right now, and so I do work full-time and I go to school, and so that is it's something to balance or manage, whichever word you prefer. It's definitely not easy. I'm somebody who, like, I don't like responsibilities at all. I like to, if it were up to me, like I would just, like, life would be one big party, honestly. And so like the fact that I already have to work is definitely something that I have to deal with, and then on top of that, like, school. And so that's an adjustment. It's been an adjustment. I've definitely struggled with it. And then on top of that, I was promoted at work, and so there were some days where I was at work until like 8 p.m. and then I would have to come home and do homework. And so that is definitely something that's not easy to get used to if you're someone like me, where like literally I am just like, yeah, I don't like doing the things that I have to do. I have continued my treatment so now I'm seeing my psychiatrist monthly. I have been since October. I see my therapist weekly, and I have also weekly been going to a SMART recovery group. And so SMART is an alternative to AA. I have not been very fond of AA. I've tried AA several times. I've had a sponsor. I've tried to go through the steps. And if that works for you, that's awesome. It didn't work for me. I don't align myself with an abstinent-based 12-step model or approach. I don't, yeah, my treatment looks different, and so I did opt to go to SMART Recovery. I have been very happy in SMART Recovery, and I have found that to be very helpful. I did purchase the book. We've done a couple of things on the book, and I have just really tried to to be in the program and work that program, because I do recognize that my substance use disorder, as I'm trying to treat it and you know, sort of manage it, I did realize that like I needed help, you know, and I needed something that was going to really focus on this. In the past, I have done eating disorder recovery support groups, and I found that to be very helpful. And so I did do this as well for my substance use disorder. I do want to come back on here and make a video about one of the medications that I recently changed was that I went back on is Risperdal. And for anybody who knows, Risperdal is an antipsychotic. I do struggle with manic episodes and hypomanic episodes as well. And I did in 2018 have a manic episode that actually got psychotic, and so I had to go back on my Risperdal at the time, even though I really didn't want to. And that's kind of one of the things that I struggle with that I haven't really spoken about here before on my channel, I don't think anyways. But I do have bipolar disorder type 1. I do believe a lot of my struggles are at the intersection of trauma and bipolar disorder type 1. And so I, you know, I've kind of been working through that in therapy, and some of the things that have lingered, and what parts of the mania do I like, what parts of the mania do I not find helpful. I am open to coming back on here and really talking about my manic episodes and my manic symptoms and what that looks like and what happened in 2018 that I was like, look, I don't care if it's mania, I don't care what you call it, like literally make it stop because it's ruining my life. And so I do struggle with paranoia and delusions. And so that's something that as I've gotten back on my Risperdal, I've been able to, it's just changed my perception of things. And that can definitely be very scary, but I have found it to be very helpful in some ways, just because there are things that I've been struggling with for a really, really long time that did come from a place where I was struggling with my paranoia, and it's been hard to let go. And so I've just had a lot of changes. I did recently make a video private. For anyone who did notice, I don't think anybody did, which is fine. But I'm kind of saying it because I made a video private where it was the video that I talked about like being obsessed with married men. And the reason that I took it down is because I have had a lot more insight about sort of like magical thinking and complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and like being obsessed with someone who is unattainable, and also how my manic symptoms have contributed to some of those obsessions. You know, I do very explicitly talked about certain things in that video, in terms of like me spitting on someone's property, and like you know, being invasive in my stalking behaviors. And I felt like I just feel like I have more insight now, and I can talk about it in a way that's maybe going to highlight where the erotomania intersects with the magical thinking from my complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So I do think that what I do struggle with is at trauma meets mania. And I kind of felt like the video was a little bit me just kind of like giving this story and maybe not having the greatest amount of insight on it. But maybe I could review the video again, and maybe I might put it up again. But I do want to make another video. I want to make another couple of videos about bipolar disorder 1 and complex post-traumatic stress disorder intersecting, how that has affected my life. And I do also want to make a video about mania, and sort of the struggles that I've had with mania, and where my mania got psychotic, and where I finally had to accept like this is what I struggle with. And so that was back in 2018. Now you know, it's 2022, and so I had gotten back on my medication, and then I was able to get back off once the mania had gone down. And then I was hypomanic for some time, and then I got really, really depressed. And And then I've recently experienced some of the hypomanic episodes or symptoms come back up, but then it started to go more into mania, which is why I did decide to go back on my Risperdal. And for anybody who knows bipolar disorder, you know that one of the struggles that a lot of the patients with bipolar disorder have is that they don't entirely hate their symptoms. And so I don't entirely hate being manic, you know. Is it disruptive? Absolutely. And so I can really talk about how well, the journey about being diagnosed with bipolar disorder and when I finally surrendered. So that's a conversation for another day. I did want to make this video short, but yeah, so I hope to hear from some of you in the comments, and just wait on more videos. Bye.